वंशी विभूषितकरान् नवनीरदाभात् पीताम्बरा तरुणबिम्बफला धरोष्ठात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखात् अरविन्दनेत्रात् कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Divine souls, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Gurudev. As you all know, we are going through chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga. Last week we were going through this mantra 8, in which Bhagavan says, Mayeva mana adhatsva Mai buddhim niveshaya Nivasheshyasi mayeva ata urdhvam na sankshaya. Fix your mind on me alone. Let your intellect dwell in me. Thereupon you shall always live in me. Of this there is no doubt. This is the most important verse of this chapter 12. You know, 12 is the heart of Bhagavad Gita, and this mantra is the heart of chapter 12. What Bhagavan says here? That you give to me what? Mind and intellect. You surrender your mind and intellect to you. Now, if I surrender my mind and intellect to him, what remains to me? If you have no intellect, you are not him, human being. Jnanena hina vasubhi samana. But this is the mind and this is the intellect which creates problem. And that problem is so strong that it repels you from approaching Bhagavan. What is there? You have impurities. With purity, which you have been able to gain through your spiritual activities, with that there are also impurities. अज्ञानता, भगवान कहते हैं उस अज्ञानता को भी मुझे दे दो। सूरदास जी ने एक बहुत सुंदर एक भजन गाया है, बहुत पुराना भजन है। प्रभु मोरे अवगुण चित न धरो, प्रभु मोरे अवगुण चित न धरो, समदर्शी है नाम तिहारो, समदर्शी है नाम तिहारो, चाहो तो पार करो, प्रभु जी मोरे अवगुण चित न धरो। My impurities I am offering unto you. Please ignore that. Please do not look at the impurities on me. Whatever I had, I have surrendered on to you. Now it is up to you whether you like me to sail across the sansar sagar, the ocean of this sansar. It is up to you, in your hands. On my part, I have given you everything what I have got, even it is there impurities in that. That what Bhagwan wants from his bhakta. We are talking of bhakta. We are not talking of karma yogi, please remember. We are also not talking about jnana yogi. What a karma yogi does, swe karamanya rata sansiddhim lavate nara. Verse 45 of chapter 18. Through practice, through karma, practice, using his body, mind, senses, and everything, he performs his actions in such a way that slowly the impurities are taken care of. He is not surrendering himself. He is not surrendering his mind on intellect onto Bhagwan. That karma yogi performs action, and through his action, good actions, he over a period of time gets his impurities away so that it becomes pure, and with pure mind, then he can follow on the path of spirituality at a faster pace. What about Jnana Yogi? Jnana Yogi goes through the process of Srabanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. He also uses his power to hear scriptures. He grabs whatever is given in the scripture, tries to manana on, think about it. He gets his doubts cleared. Then he gets purity of mind, which can concentrate on Bhagavan. He goes to the dhyana, nididhyasanam, and gets merged with that. In bhakti, it is different. Because when you offer yourself with your mind and intellect, you surrender everything you have to the feet of Lord. We keep talking about it. But how to do it, we'll come to that in a minute. But in principle, we have to see that this mind and intellect is not mine. This mind and intellect I have offered on to Bhagwan. And then Bhagwan takes upon from there, and he has made a promise. He has told us, Tesamevanukam partam aham ajnanajam tama nashyamatma bhavasto jnanadipena bhaswata. I take upon myself तेसाम अनुकंपा, उसके ऊपर दया करके, have my grace on him. Through my grace, ajnana tama, that impurity, that darkness of impurities that he has got, I take upon to dispel that. You don't have to go through the process of karma yoga. You don't need to go through the process of jnana yoga. If you have been able to surrender your mind and intellect onto him through bhakti yoga, through shraddha, deep shraddha, then Bhagwan takes upon himself jnana dipena bhaswata, that ignorance will be transformed into the effulgence of Bhagwan, and you will be one with that. So what is important? There is need to surrender your possession, not just little bit, entirety. Nothing is yours. Everything is that of Bhagwan. We also sing bhajan. Sab avalamban tyaj kar pyare. Sab avalamban tyaj kar pyare. तू मेरी शरण में आजा रे, कर दूंगा पाप से मुक्त तुझे, बतला दिया कृष्ण मुरारी ने। गीता का ज्ञान सभी जग को बतला दिया कृष्ण मुरारी ने। You surrender everything up, your own avlamban, depending upon yourself, you give up. तू मेरी शरण में आ जा रे, to come to my refuge, and having done that, कर दूंगा पाप से मुक्त तुझे। तुम्हारे सारे impurities को, सारे पापों को I will wash off. You see, when we talk of the wash off, the word washing machine comes into the mind. You may wash your cloth by rubbing with various type of detergents, and घस करके आप साफ कर रहे हैं. That process is there, but it takes long time. But if you give all your impurities onto washing machine, you give everything to Bhagwan, it will churn all your impurities out. The need for us is to surrender everything onto Bhagwan. But the question is how to do this, how to surrender this. That is a big thing. How to surrender mind and intellect to Lord, and that too thoroughly, entirety in its entirety. We have talked about the processes in earlier talk I have given. I have tried to mention that. But two things we should remember. One is that I have my thoughts in my mind. The thoughts in my mind are pure or impure, as we have talked about. What we can do is to try to transform my thoughts into purity. You put a tag onto that. You see, when we used to do बेलपत्र शिव जी का, तो बेलपत्र के हर एक पत्र पर राम राम लिखते थे. But there is one बेलपत्र without Ram Nam. So that is not become Ram Nami बेलपत्र. But one who writes, I have done it as a child with my mother sitting there. We used to prepare sandalwood, घस घस करके बनाते थे और राम 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 लिखते थे. Now that patra with Ram becomes charged, tagged. It is as if you're offering everything onto him. जब बंदर भालू बाकी सब wanted to cross over to Lanka, then what they did, they wrote Ram Ram on the stone. And that stone was different from another stone which was not with Ram. They have this Shraddha so much that put heart and soul onto that. And that stone which could not float became afloat. And with that, they were able to make a bridge and cross over this. What I'm trying to say, we have to tag ourselves, be an agent. And the other point is to be an agent of Bhagwan. You have advertisement, you see Haldiram advertisement. Now this Haldiram advertisement, they are trying to sell so many items. भुजिया भी है, रसगुल्ला भी है, गुलाब जामुन भी है, पकोड़े भी हैं, समोसे भी हैं. All various items are there, but the agent who goes to propagate those items, what they have in mind? Haldiram. In the mind, they have how to get the company, which is Haldiram, to propagate those items, although there are varieties, but each one of them has a tag of Haldiram onto that. And that's what he has got in his mind. Can we, when we perform any action, when we perform any activity without looking at the consequences, before the start of action, we tag that with Bhagwan onto that, offering onto the Bhagwan. When we are eating anything, we say, with Brahmarapram, Brahmavir, Brahmagno, we put the tag of Brahma onto our item. Then that is not food. Although there are varieties of items, they all become Bhagavan ka prasad. Everything become, you don't itemize them. Every item is prasad because everyone has the tag of Bhagavan onto that. The practical way of utilizing this direction or taking into practice that instruction which Bhagavan is giving, that मन और बुद्धि दोनों मुझे दे दो, मैं सारे को क्या करूंगा? I will, if you surrender that through the practice of bhakti yoga, you will completely free from all impurities. I will be there to look after that, and you will be free from all the impurities. So thus we are what we saw that in this mantra 8, Lord advises to surrender mind and intellect to him. This is called Samarpana Yoga. As you know, from mantra 8 to 11, Bhagavan is talking about 4 methods, 4 sadhana, 4 प्रकार के साधना की बात भगवान 8 से 11 मंत्र में करते हैं. This has to be kept in mind, one after another. Bhagavan has given opportunity for various levels of individuals having the various capabilities depending upon their aptitude, the degree of inaptitude. Bhagavan has given alternatives. You can do Samarpana Yoga, that what has been mentioned in mantra 8, or you can do Abhyasa Yoga, which is given in mantra 9, or then he says Madartha Karma, Mat Karma, that is Bhagavat Karma, that is given in verse 10, and then he talks about renunciation of fruits of action in mantra 11. So there are 4 different sadhana for bhakti Bhagwan has given us in verses in mantra 8 to 11. Let us go one after another. Let us see what Bhagwan talks about in mantra 9. Atachettam samadhatum na saknosi mai sthiram abhyasa yogena tato mamikshaptum dhananjaya. Atham, if chittam samadhatum na saknosi, if you are unable to fix your mind, mai stharam, where steadily on me, tat, then abhyasa yogena, by uniting with God through repeated practice, mam iksha aptum, seek to attain me, Dhananjaya, O conqueror of wealth. What he said to Arjuna, Bhagavan says, if you are unable to surrender your mind and intellect onto me, that's what it means here, chittam samadhatum. O Arjun, then uniting God with repeated practice, abhyasa yoga, what you do? Seek to attain me, O Dhananjaya. Now, when we talk of Dhananjaya, just a word about it. Dhananjaya has 2 parts, Dhanam Jaya, conqueror of wealth. What is the implication here? Bhagavan is telling him, well, you have been able to collect a lot of wealth for, of course, yajna purpose. And in that process, you have defeated many enemies. I am telling you to defeat one enemy, O Dhananjaya. If you have been able to collect wealth of knowledge, that's what I'm telling you, defeat one enemy through abhyasa yoga, through practice, through use this weapon of abhyasa yoga to be able to defeat one enemy, and then that way you conquer the wealth of knowledge. Now, in this verse, what Bhagavan is saying, if you are unable, you see, we have, all of us have different level of composition of guna, satogun, rajogun, and tamogun. And this composition makes you more receptible and more ability to practice one sadhana as compared to other. There are people who can sit down and practice meditation straight away. There are people who cannot do it. He may try many times. Moment he sits down, thoughts of the whole world starts jumping on his. He cannot sit down and meditate. Do you mean to say that he cannot be a bhakta? No. He can be a bhakta, and there are alternatives given by Bhagavan to him. He says, if you are not able to concentrate, practice. The practice is very, there's nothing that cannot be attained by practice. Through practice, whatever is aim one has, one is able to achieve. You see, all those who go to Olympics and others, they keep practicing. The one who cannot jump 2 feet jumps 5 feet. And so that makes that effort. He puts an effort, and practice is effort. Here, the effort is needed in order to attain certain things. Bhagavan is advising Arjuna, if you are not able to concentrate, to be able to steady your mind, to be able to surrender your mind and intellect, then by abhyasa yoga, seek to attain me through the yoga of abhyasa. You all know that in chapter 8, mantra 8, abhyasa yoga has been mentioned. And there what says Bhagavan? Same principle, same results. What says? Abhyasa yoga yuktena cetasa nanyagamina paramam purusham divyam yati parthanuchintayan. O Partha, he who by the constant practice of yoga, his mind thinking of nothing else, constantly meditating on me, attains the supreme divine, the Purusa, Param Purusa he attains. How? Through practice of abhyasa, through abhyasa yoga that enables one to attain that Brahma. Now, Maharshi Patanjali has given a definition of abhyasa. He has defined in the Yoga Darshan, the definition of abhyas has been given. What is that? Tatra sthitau yatno abhyasa. Tatra sthitau yatno abhyasa. The efforts for the continuous maintenance of the stoppage of modifications. Here, Patanjali, Maharshi Patanjali is talking about Chitta Nirodha. So if Chit is so chanchal, so much uncontrollable, but through abhyasa, Bhagavan also to abhyasa yoga, in abhyasa vairagya, you can control. So here emphasis is on word abhyas. Abhyas is you are able through the practice, if you are able to stop the modification of mind, that effort put in there is called abhyas. Abhyas to stop or to maintain the, to able to stabilize your thoughts in your mind, that is the practice, and that is abhyas. Now, Sukdev Ji Maharaj, to which Kripalu Ji Maharaj often quotes, Jagate man ko hatakar लगा हरि में प्यारे, इसी का अभ्यास पुनि पुनि करो निरंतर प्यारे, साधना करो प्यारे। वन ऑफ द साधना इज दैट यू शुड जगत से मन को हटाकर, you have to detach yourself from sansar and attach your mind onto Bhagwan. This is the key word to be able to practice. We should detach ourselves. Jagat se man ko hatakar, to detach your mind from involvement in sansar. Puni puni abhyas, not I did today and you don't do tomorrow. You repeatedly you do the vyasa, karu nirantar pyare. If you do that all the time, constantly, again and again, that is abhyasa. And through abhyasa, you should be able to ma vikshaptum dhananjaya. You can attain me, oh Arjuna, if you are engaged in practice in the proper way that has been advised to you. Now, what Bhagavan talks in verse 12. He talks about Abhyasepya samarthosi matkarma paramo bhava madartham api karmani kurvan siddhimavapsasi. He says, Abhyasena, in practice, api, if asamarthasi, you are unable. Mat karma paramah bhava, intent on working for me. Mat karma, it is for me. Karvani kurvan, that means undertaking action. Mad artham api, for my sake also, what will happen? Siddhim apsasi. You will attain perfection. So there is another choice Bhagavan is saying, that if you are unable to even sit down and practice, you are not able to continue with the practice which is advised to you, then whatever action you perform, whatever undertaking you take of any action you perform, you do for my sake. If you are performing action for my sake, then also you will be able to attain perfection. So he is dropping down from the level where one is able to surrender his mind and intellect on him, that he can practice and make an effort to be able to bring that mind and intellect onto Bhagavan. If that is also not possible, then activities what you are carrying on in this world, you do everything for my sake. You perform that with intent on me. If you are unable to perform, that meaning is that if you are unable to perform the yoga practice, be intent on work for me. When Bhagavan says work for me, that means you may not be directly in contact with him, but you are doing all those actions which is pleasing to him. If activity, whatever you perform in the world, if that doesn't hurt him, you see, Bhagavan has talked about कौन सा काम करने से मुझे तकलीफ होती है. So, you do those work, you did work for him, that means you perform activities which is pleasing to him. He is happy you perform those actions. That means you do not perform any action which in the eyes of Bhagavan is detrimental and is not pleasing to him. You must undertake the work that will be able to please him. Bhagavan says, Purvan Siddhim Vapsasi. If you have performed all those actions, all with those actions also, it is possible for you to attain perfection. That is Sthita Pragya. You remember chapter 2, Bhagavan talks about Sthita Pragya, in which he talks about so many attributes which is required for one to be Sthita Pragya. I think my time has come to end. I will stop over here. We'll carry on further next week. Jai Sri Krishna. Jai Gurudev.